Good morning. It's 24 minutes to 8. Now, early this week, campaigners in Folkestone raised concerns that Kent County Council may approve plans to auction off the town's former library building. The Grace Hill site was closed in December 2022 due to safety concerns, prompting the library to relocate to a temporary space in the former Woolworths store. Now, on Monday's programme, I had a chat with the Folkestone Labour MP, Tony Vaughan, who has been expressing his support for the community-led effort to save the building.
This is a venue which has been used by people all over Folkestone for years and years. I was doing some door knocking the other day and spoke to some quite elderly people in their 80s who just remember, fondly going there as kids, and it's part of the lives of many people in the area. And so the idea that it could be, sold off and redeveloped or something like that, I think for many people is completely unacceptable.
Well, we understand a final decision has not yet been made because yesterday councillors met to discuss the future of both the library service and the Grace Hill site, and the building could still end up going to auction next month. Brian Collins is the Deputy Leader of Reform UK-run Kent County Council and is joining me alongside Tony Vaughan, the Labour MP for Folkestone Hythe, who you heard there. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning, Tony.
Right. What happened at the meeting yesterday, Brian Collins?
Well, there was a very extensive discussion between members, well over 2 hours, which for one subject is, quite an extensive meeting. Lots of points of view put forward. I made it clear that while the intention is for Grace Hill to go to auction next month, there has been, and this is where I think Tony misunderstands, there has been extensive consultation with the community groups in Ashford, including Creative Folkestone. They've been given every opportunity and still have. I made that abundantly clear yesterday. There is still an opportunity for anybody to come forward and make proposals for the Grace Hill building.
Tony Vaughan.
Brian, you can't make applications for funding for a building that you have absolutely no interest or legal right over. The Creative Folkestone and Save Folkestone Library cannot go out and make bids on a building that they have no link to. You have to formally join hands with them and go out and find this grant funding together. Now, you haven't done that. The Tories never did that. There's absolutely no reason why you haven't got on with it. And after the Tories basically allowed that building to fall into disrepair and letting down the people of Folkestone, you yourselves as Reform UK are now also letting down the people of Folkestone by not actually taking those steps to maintain the building and keep it as the gift to Folkestone that was given to them in the late 1800s.
Okay.
You're the custodian and you failed in that duty.
Brian Collins,
can
go
I
for
come in there? Because I think there's a couple of things that need to be corrected.
We're hearing you.
First of all, I would totally agree. The previous administration run by the Conservatives did let the local residents down. Folkestone residents haven't had a proper library provision for over 3 years. Yes, there is a temporary library provision opposite Grace Hill, but it's a very small building on 3 floors. It hasn't got a proper adult section. It hasn't got a proper children's section. What we're proposing is that the new library in Sandgate Road, which is the old Woolworths building, will have plenty of facilities. It won't just be a library. It's going to be a hub. It will have adult education in there as well. And this is the way forward.
Brian Collins. Tony
has said there.
Brian Collins, hold on a second, Brian Collins. I need to. You can't just keep going. I need to, and that's to both of you this morning. You need to let me come in because on that point about the new building, it sounds like a done deal that you're definitely not going to replace. You're replacing the library in Sandgate Road to the Woolworths store as opposed to where the former building was. So do you have no interest at all in any other kind of creative ideas that are being suggested for Grace Hill, or will you simply wait till the end of the month and auction it?
No, I made it abundantly clear in council yesterday on probably at least half a dozen times that we are very open to options that can be put forward. But we have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. This has been rumbling on at a cost of approximately £10,000 a month. And, the council has a financial responsibility, to make sure that, finances not going out of control.
Tony Vaughan, isn't that a point about if financially it's a building that does need help, it does need support, it does need safety work done on it, that they're suggesting reform at Kent County Council that you have a building, Woolworths, which is right in the centre of the town. Some might argue that it's in the middle of the town as opposed to down Grace Hill, which is a bit of a walk for many people, particularly elderly people. Just a thought.
There's two different conversations here. One
just
of them
that one.
is
Just
about
answer that one first of all.
Yeah. But on the temporary provision stuff, that's a different debate. That there's already a temporary provision, and they're going to do different things with the temporary provision. But what I'm talking about is the long-term future of the library, and that's what Brian is saying. Oh well, the door's always open to that, but it's not in reality, because he rejected, all the reform councillors rejected a motion that would have put a covenant on the building limiting its use to that of a library. The fact that they all voted that down, despite Labour put that forward, supported by the Lib Dems and Greens and others, if they genuinely thought that was a long-term option, they wouldn't have voted it down. And that's because, for whatever reason, I have no idea what it was, but if it really was maintenance costs, they would have acted as soon as they were elected. But they've allowed for May, June, July, since last May, to be paying out those costs when they could have joined hands with the community. That proposal, that idea was on the table even under the Tories, and they didn't pick it up, and neither did Reform. And so,
okay.
So this is the point.
Can I come back in there?
Left the door open.
Final point, Brian Collins.
Tony mentions that, we've been here for 8 months, we haven't acted on it. What we've been doing is giving the community a chance to come forward. There have been extensive conversations with many different community groups. But what Tony seems to be ignoring is the fact that Folkestone hasn't had a decent library service for the last 3 years.
Temporary provision. We're talking about the long-term future of the library, and you haven't given
Can you give us a final date, finally and very briefly, Brian Collins, of when a decision will be made? And you mention as a group that you're waiting on Paul Webb to make a decision.
Paul Webb, I would imagine, will be making his decision in the next few days.
Next few days, I would imagine, as to whether it goes forward to auction. Why didn't you make that decision last night?
As far as I'm aware, that is the plan. But as I said, our door is open for sensible conversations.
To you both, we'll have to leave it there. Brian Collins, Deputy Leader of Reform UK-run Kent County Council. Tony Vaughan, Labour MP for Folkestone and High. Thank you both very much for being with us this morning.